It's always best to start at the beginning. Terms and concepts involved in the law include people and things and how lawsuits are created. Attorneys and lawyers are the same thing. Sometimes those words are used in different contexts, but they're interchangeable. Then we have what the law is. The law in the U.S. is made up of various different, it comes from different areas, but basically there are rules for civilization. There are the rules that our society follows in order to be orderly and to have a code of conduct in different situations, different places, and different people. Our law came from Great Britain and France. In Louisiana, they came from the French Napoleonic Code, and the rest of the U.S. came from the Magna Carta and the English common law. We now have all kinds of laws. We have federal laws that are statutes. They're the U.S. Code. We also have the CFR, which is the Code of Federal Regulations. There are also agency rules. You might hear about an EPA announcement on the news, or CERCLA or RECRA. Those are environmental laws. There are different rules within the Department of the Interior. There are import-export rules and things like that. There are also laws that the United States has to follow with other countries. There are compacts and different types of treaties that we have. It sounds like an old-fashioned term, but we still have them today. Then more locally, you have your state laws, which are a statute or a code. The eastern states, some of them are commonwealths. They have their codes, and then the states. There are also, again, regulations. A state corporation commission may have a regulation. There are traffic rules. There are ordinances, which are city rules. So it's a whole bunch of them, but those are all basically laws. Then, as a court interprets a written law by a legislative body, then you have the common law, which is the word of mouth common law that was brought down, and as it's interpreted, that's how you hear the courts are making law. The court doesn't make a law, they interpret it, and then if the legislature wants to change that interpretation, they go back and specifically write another law. But until that is changed, then we follow the interpretation of what that written law means that was given to us from the court. Now, the way that our laws are created are, one, from the legislative body, whether it's a state legislature or a Congress, through those procedures, and then, as I said, through the courts. Well, what are the words that we deal with in a court matter? Well, you would have a pleading. A pleading is a document that starts a lawsuit. On the civil side, you would have an information or a indictment on the criminal side. But basically they are the paperwork that starts the process. Now on the civil side, we have what would be called maybe a complaint. It's a complaint or a petition, or it might be a different word depending upon where you are. But it would have a caption, and this is the style or the caption of a case. So the top would be what court it is in. What court it is in. Superior Court, District Court, Circuit Court, things like Supreme Court. Some states the Supreme Court is their highest, like in New York, the Supreme Court is their starting court. So it's not the same everywhere, but there's a court. Then it would say where, in the county, the state, etc. Then you have the parties. The first name is going to be, or the series of names, it doesn't have to just be one person or one entity, is the plaintiff. In some types of proceedings, they could be called the petitioner. Then the second group of names is the defendant or respondent, again, depending upon the kind of case. Then there is a case number. That is the number. It usually starts with a year in some fashion. It could be the whole year or the last 2 digits of the year. I think since we got to 2000, now the year is actually included oftentimes in a case number. It'll be the year and then some type of code within that court to designate the type of case, whether probate, criminal, civil, or administrative. And then it'll have a number. That's actually the number the number of it's the actual number in chronological order of cases filed in that court in that year. And that's how you keep track of them. Then there will be the name of the pleading. The starting, like I said, it would be information or indictment for criminal. For civil, it would be a complaint or a petition. It's a request for relief, and this is your first thing. And then it would say what it is for. This one is a complaint by Elmer Fudd against Acme Anvil Company, a complaint for breach of warranty. A complaint can have all their disputes between them, and it may have multiple counts, but this is what the style of the case looks like.